office of Speaker of the House of the United States.
This body into chaos and this country into uncertainty for reasons that only
Historic day in the United States. For the first time ever, there's currently no Speaker of the House. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel.
And I'm Emily Faith. We begin tonight with breaking news. News from Congress we have never heard before. The Speaker of the House voted out today. OU Nightly's Spencer Tabb is following this historic event and joins us live with the latest.
Kaylee, Joe, and Emily, political experts say this puts the U.S. House in a complete state of paralysis. After the vote to remove Speaker Kevin McCarthy, the seat is vacant. This means the House of Representatives cannot take any action on any topic until a new speaker is elected. Oklahoma Congressman Tom Cole says this is turmoil.
honestly, they're willing to plunge this body into chaos and this country into uncertainty for reasons that only they really understand. I certainly don't.
The final vote was 216 to 210, with 8 Republicans joining all Democrats to remove McCarthy. Political insiders say the vote shows the growing backlash from far-right Republicans. All of Oklahoma's Republican delegation voted against removing McCarthy. Because there is no precedent for McCarthy's removal, it's really not clear what happens next. The House is in recess and informal talks about what happens next are underway. We will keep an eye on this situation and let you know if anything develops during the newscast. Reporting live, Spencer Tabb, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Spencer. On to the state capitol. The special session kicked off this morning, but didn't last long. OU Nightly's Noah Mack is in the newsroom with how it all went down. Noah?
That's right. Senate leaders told OU Nightly last week they expected the governor's tax cut plan to be dead on arrival during this special session. Late this afternoon, their predictions came true. Equipped with a poster board and a catchy slogan, Governor Stitt made his tax cut pitch.
It's a great day for Oklahomans.
He was hoping to coax the legislature into devising a plan to put Oklahoma on a path to zero state income taxes, arguing there is room in the budget.
We can absolutely do it when we have these type of surpluses.
The governor brought in a host of guests to showcase his policy goals for special session, including House Speaker Charles McCall. McCall says he shares the governor's goal of zero income taxes.
And while we can't do that tomorrow, and I don't believe the governor has called to take the rate to zero, we do agree with the governor on a path to get to zero.
But the governor did not accept an invitation to come to the Senate to make his pitch. So the Senate adjourned. Stitt's tax cut proposal died a quick death. There likely will not be another special session on these tax cuts, and they will end up getting lumped in with the regular session in February. Reporting from the newsroom, Noah Mack, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Noah. October in Norman is starting off with cooler weather.
OU Nightly meteorologist Hunter Brittingham is in the studio to give us a first look at these fall temperatures.
That's right, ladies. Unfortunately, today it's a pretty warm day out there. We are seeing temperatures well above average in the upper 80s, even lower 90s to the south and to the southwest. Here in Lawton, 92 degrees is what they're seeing out there. 88 right now in Norman. We are starting to see some of those southerly winds in there as well. So if you are heading outside anymore during the day, you definitely notice if it has been windy out there, definitely 23 miles per hour from the south here in Norman. But radar image right now is pretty clear. Just seeing a few showers develop, some developing showers and storms off to the north and west by Woodward. And we do have that threat for severe weather later on into tonight and especially into the day tomorrow. Coming up later on in the show, I'll be talking about how the storms will be weakening into the overnight hours, talking about severe storm threats into tomorrow, and those temperatures are going to be falling.
Thanks, Hunter. A Norman firefighter is laid to rest today, 2 weeks after his death. Cancer survivor Levi Wilkins died in a rock climbing accident, and in place of flowers, the Wilkins family is asking for donations to fund outdoor adventures for cancer patients.
What could have been a scary sight this weekend at a local park had a happy ending. OU Nightly's Morgan Martin joins us live from Ruby Grant Park with how police handled the misunderstanding.
Norman PD got a call from the woman who found the children's clothes, car keys, and strollers all left behind. She was concerned it was more than someone just forgetting those items.
Here's what it looked like Sunday afternoon. You can see all of the scattered items that led a woman to call Norman PD and take to Facebook to try and put the pieces together. Sarah Shetler with the Norman Police Department says in scenarios like this,
It's concerning that there's car keys in a stroller. I can understand that would probably raise my attention.
And it did raise the attention of other residents who said it looked like the start of a Dateline episode. Others say they hope police would look into the scene. If you stumble across a situation that feels suspicious or out of the ordinary, Shetler recommends you call Norman PD.
It's better to call and have an officer come out and look into the scenario and then at least take the found properties.
Shetler says there's no right answer on which emergency number to call.
And it really comes down to just trusting your instinct and kind of judging what the level of emergency is to you.
And in instances like this one with unattended property, Norman PD says they're able to take that property, put it in a safe place, and hopefully reconnect it to the owner. Had this been something more, photos like those from the park are helpful for police.
You can review those and talk through those with the officer. That is always helpful.
And while it looked worse than it was, fortunately everyone was okay, and it was just lost items that have now been given back to their owners. At Ruby Grant Park, Morgan Martin, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Morgan. Former President Donald Trump is back in the courtroom today for day 2 of the $250 million civil fraud trial against himself, his oldest sons, and Trump Organization executives. OU Nightly's Victoria Anderson has that and the rest of today's headlines from the News Center.
Trump announcing today he will testify during the trial. His name is featured on the witness list for both the state and his own legal team. Trump's former accountant Donald Bender sitting in the hot seat for a second day, bracing questions from New York Attorney General's team regarding Trump's annual financial statements. Judge Arthur Arnagon also forbidding Trump from making comments about trial members after a post from the former president on the conservative media app Truth Social. And in a Delaware courtroom, Hunter Biden pleads not guilty to 3 firearm charges. The 3 counts are from a gun purchase in 2018, while Hunter Biden allegedly was using illegal drugs. He is the first child of a sitting president to fight criminal charges in court. And in upstate New York, a missing 9-year-old Charlotte Sena is returned with her family. Police arresting suspect Craig Nelson Ross Jr. after finding a ransom note left at Sena's home. Charlotte was kidnapped over the weekend during a camping trip with her family. Authorities report Charlotte was not physically harmed. And panda bears might be leaving zoos nationwide as tensions between the U.S. and China increase. This move ending a 50-year exchange originally designed by President Nixon. Kaylee, Joe, Emily.
Thanks, Victoria. Coming up on OU Nightly, a night all about building relationships and keeping Norman safe.
More on a national event that brought the community together.
Plus, putting women's health first.
Why doctors say it's important to have your annual checkup next. Every year, first responders come together to inform the Norman community at National Night Out.
OU Nightly reporter Kenzie Eiserman shares why this event is so important to the Norman community.
The sirens brought joy and laughter Monday night at National Night Out. Norman families came together to learn more about who's on the front lines for their city and what they do.
It's a more relaxed environment, so you feel more comfortable going up to them and actually asking questions. They do have things that they can give you, so you can learn more about it. So I think it's a really good thing to have.
Safety is always the community's priority, and at National Night Out, first responders shared some crime prevention tips to the Norman attendees.
Everything from locking your doors to hiding your valuables. Most criminals will just stay away from locked doors. I mean, but crime's everywhere, and there's a way to keep yourself safe between cameras and just being aware of your surroundings.
Everything from bomb squad equipment to the U.S. Marshal van and even drones, the Norman community got to take a first look at and in some of the equipment they use on a daily basis.
That we're here to help, that you can come ask us anything. We're glad to help, that we want to be here, that we want to serve our community.
Creating these relationships between first responders and the Norman community, officers shared that it's essential to rely on each other. Reporting from Sooner Mall, Kenzie Eiserman, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Kenzie. For more community events, Norman PD says they'll have those on the City of Norman's website. Breast cancer is the leading cause of death among cancer deaths in women overall. Early detection is critical.
The American Cancer Society says it's important to know your risk of breast cancer and to get a screening. A screening is not just a precaution, but also helps you find out about any body changes.
Had not have been for me noticing that what I had wasn't there the day before, I probably wouldn't have been here.
The American Cancer Society says being physically active and keeping a healthy body weight can help reduce your risk for the cancer.
Coming up on OU Nightly, federal loan payments return.
Tips for students to best navigate the new monthly bill up next.
And it's dry and windy out there right now, but that's going to be changing as we head into tonight and definitely into tomorrow. I'll have the details coming up. Stay with us. Well, welcome back to OU Nightly. Thank you so much for joining us. We're at 88 degrees right now in Norman, sitting with some sunny skies. Those clouds are mingling into the sky this afternoon, feeling like 86 degrees out there. So it is definitely very warm out there for the first part of October. We are all warm across the Sooner State, lots of 80s and even a few 90s on the board at this hour still after 4:30. But we will be having some showers and storms starting off this evening into the northwest corner of the Panhandle, impacting Guyman and Woodward. These storms are going to push off to the east, and as they do, they're going to be in a weakening fashion, but they will be entering the Norman vicinity between 6 p.m. and 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. So what threats are we talking about into the day, Tuesday, and going into Wednesday? We're looking at a very low tornado potential. Winds anywhere between 60 and 80 miles per hour. Could see hail up to the size of baseballs in isolated amounts, but more so we're talking about golf balls. And as well as flash flooding is going to be one of the bigger concerns heading into this severe weather threat. So for the day on Wednesday, the Storm Prediction Center has our area including Norman and Oklahoma City, under a slight risk for severe weather. That's a level 2 out of 5 risk. And so what this entails is that we could see the development of strong to severe thunderstorms. We do have all hazards in play. As I mentioned, a very low tornado threat. Areas here shaded in green are going to be in that 2% tornado margin for the day tomorrow, as well as the damaging winds. We said 60 to 80 miles per hour. That's definitely going to be a risk along the I-35 corridor and points south, as well as the damaging hail. So you do want to ensure that you are parking your cars in a garage if you can find that heading into tomorrow. So we will see several rounds of rainfall, and because of that, flash flooding is definitely going to be a potential. So got some slight areas of flash flooding potential, but we could be seeing some very heavy rainfall with this system. We'll go ahead and time it out for you. As of 6 p.m. tonight, still those showers and storms starting to develop along a dry line to the west of us around Woodward. Those are going to continue to push off to the north and east, and by about midnight, we will start to see these storms impacting the I-35 corridor to the north of Oklahoma City. They won't really be impacting Norman. Might see a few sprinkles overnight, but we're really going to be seeing a lot of the cloud cover. Tomorrow's really going to be when things ramp up. So I mentioned not one, but multiple rounds of strong to severe storms. By 2 p.m. tomorrow, we'll start to see those scattering of the storms push through the area, and then another chance of showers and storms behind that, and that will continue to push off to the east heading into Wednesday and Thursday morning. So we could see a lot of rainfall from this system heading into the next 24 to 48 hours. By tomorrow morning, just over 1/100th of an inch of rainfall, but by the end of this, we could be picking up close to an inch of rainfall out there. So definitely going to be a wet next couple of days out there, ladies. But after that, we are going to be seeing a return of these fall-like temperatures. The allergies are going to be improving. We're still in that high category for those weeds out there, but grass and pollen are definitely starting to teeter down, and that will definitely be the case as we head into the next several days. Going to be a great weekend this weekend for the game, Texas and Oklahoma. So definitely something to look forward to once we get through this rainy and stormy weather.
Well, besides all of the severe weather that's possible for tomorrow, I know I'm looking forward to the cooler weather. I feel like we always are talking to you and you say we're going to go right back to the heat. Is that going to stick around?
I don't think so. I really think that this is going to be one of the bigger fronts, and as it pushes through, we are definitely going to see the return of those fall-like temperatures. We could see those temperatures creep back up into the 80s, but 90s not looking overly likely, at least as of now.
Well, I'm excited for it to feel like fall. Thank you, Hunter. A pandemic-era pause is coming to an end as student loan payments resume. A student loan advisor says this new monthly bill will challenge millions of Americans.
A lot of changes since the pause started. Things like housing and lettuce are a lot more expensive than they were pre-COVID.
She recommends students use the loan simulator tool at studentaid.gov to help figure out which repayment plan works for you. President Biden launched an on-ramp plan. This allows a grace period for missed payments through September 2024. And for OU students to find out more about their loan information, you can find the Student Loan Services in Buchanan Hall in room 208. Coming up on OU Nightly, OU softball is stepping up to the plate for fall ball.
And the final Big 12 Red River rivalry kicks off in a matter of days. OU Nightly's Darby McCormick has more coming up in sports. There is big news coming for the future of OU football. I'll have those details. And things are heating up on the border of Oklahoma and Texas. Hear how OU players and coaches are planning to wrangle the Longhorns next in sports. Hello, I'm Darby McCormick, and it's time for sports. After a victory against the Iowa State Cyclones, OU football prepares for the Red River rivalry. But everyone knows that everything is bigger in Texas. Sooner senior offensive lineman McCade Matoyer knows what Team 129 must do to keep composure going into Saturday in an environment unlike any other.
Yeah, it is hard, especially around campus and all the outside noise. But I think the good teams are the ones that can block out all of that. And if it's a nameless, faceless opponent like we've treated the first 5 games, it's not going to matter who we play as long as we are focused on the DNA of the team and their schemes and things like that. It doesn't matter who we play. We could play Alabama or Texas or whoever. And I think the outcome will be the same no matter who you play or depending on the game.
The Longhorns are ranked number 3 in the AP poll this week. This is the highest Texas has been ranked when playing OU since 2009. From a coach's perspective, Brent Venables knows what this UT team leaves no room for error.
They're really good and talented, and there's not an area that we don't have to play well. We need to play well everywhere. You're not going to just luck up and win a game like this. Sometimes certain places you can be much better and overcome some mistakes. These guys will punish you for the smallest mistakes.
OU football has their first class of 2026 commit. Jonathan Hatton Jr., a nationally ranked sophomore running back from Texas, had offers from Nebraska, Texas Tech, and Baylor, among others. There's still no running back committed yet for the class of 2025. 6 p.m. tomorrow, Sooner fans get a chance to see the reigning national champs OU softball scrimmage prior to their journey for a Natty 4-peat. The Oklahoma Battle Series will take place at Merida Hines Field this Wednesday and October 11th. Get a sneak peek of OU baseball as the host 2 exhibition scrimmages this fall at L. Dale Mitchell Park. The Sooners will host McClellan College on Friday, October 20th, and University of Texas at Arlington on November 3rd. Oklahoma golfers made moves on the leaderboard against a tough field at the Ben Hogan Collegiate. Drew Goodman and Stephen Campbell Jr. placed top 10 in individual scoring. 12 teams that competed were in the nation's top 20. Emily, Kaylee Jo.
Thanks, Darby. Coming up on OU Nightly, an inspiring story from our troops.
How they're making an impact on the next generation next.
I'm Abby Hollinsworth at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A historic moment on Capitol Hill as Kevin McCarthy is officially ousted as Speaker of the House. The House voted 216 to 210 to remove McCarthy, with the effort driven by hard-right conservatives. They will now have to elect a new speaker. So far, there is no obvious successor. Kaylee Jo, Emily.
Thanks, Abby. On Monday night, kids with the Boys and Girls Club of San Francisco participated in Hoops with the Troops. The basketball court in front of the USS John P. Murtha ship was filled with smiles and laughter all evening.
Marines, sailors, and the men's and women's basketball teams from the Academy of Art University led the kids in drills, played some games with them, and even lifted them up to dunk the ball.
It's been a calm weather day today, but that will change on Wednesday.
Let's check in one last time with OU Nightly meteorologist Hunter Brittingham for an update on the severe weather.
That's right, ladies. So we do have the threat for strong to severe thunderstorms into the day tomorrow, and because of that, flooding is definitely going to be a potential. So you want to do exactly what this car did when it came up to the water on the roadways. You definitely want to turn around, don't drown. It only takes a few inches to sweep your car off a roadway, and even a few inches to sweep yourself off of your feet. So you definitely I want to take that into consideration because we do have some roadways that can flood very easily with the rainfall, and we will have several rounds of the rain heading into the day tomorrow, starting in the morning and into the early afternoon and evening hours. But after that, we are really going to be seeing those fall-like temperatures making a return. We're going to see a lot of sunshine in the forecast, and those temperatures are going to be very nice out there. So make sure to get out and enjoy it, and those low temperatures are going to be cooler as well.
Thanks, Hunter, and thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Kaylee Jo Hommel.
And I'm Emily Faith. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.